Okay, welcome back to Drawn to the Rhythm. We're here again at Woods After Dark. Woods is bringing in lots of good acts, and tonight they're bringing in, well, last week. We're taping this now, but it's going to be on next week, which was last week, if you figured that out well. Anyhow, we're here with the Watchmen from Winnipeg. Are you guys still based in Winnipeg, or have you guys made the big move?
No, we're still here. We just do lots of road work. We're all over the place. We're rarely in Winnipeg, but when we are home.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, I guess the big news, or the neatest thing about your big news, the greatest thing or neatest thing about your new album was it was produced by a guy named Chris Wardman, who I've heard his name an awful lot. How'd you get hooked up with him?
His girlfriend actually introduced us to him. She was involved in this Band Wars thing that we did a couple years back, and she mentioned to Chris that there's this good sort of hot new band coming around, and he came and saw the band one night in Toronto and liked the band, so the rest is history.
Oh, yeah, and he sort of helped the band a lot getting into recording and stuff too, didn't he?
Yeah, he brought us to the studio one afternoon, and we banged off like 7 or 8 songs or something like that, just sort of live off the floor, and
just so he could see kind of how we worked in a recording sort of setting, and he liked it, and we liked him, and just continued there.
All right. And how did you guys get tied up with Management Trust? That's sort of
that's a big deal for us. We were in Winnipeg like years and years ago, and a guy, Ralph James, was our agent in Winnipeg. He got a promotion to an agency in Toronto called The Agency, and he brought us over there. That's when we started doing lots of road and stuff. And he's known Jake Gold of Management Trust for a while. I mean, a long time, just back in his Harlequin days, Ralph's Harlequin days. And he just sort of kept on bugging him to say, come and check out this band. And he checked us out a couple times, and he liked it sometimes, he didn't like it sometimes, and it just sort of, we got better, and they got more interested as we got better, and we signed it up then, and that's a very good thing we did.
Because it also had coincided with the label that they just started too, so that they looked at it like they can sign a band, have them on their label, as well as have them, they can manage us as well, so sort of tie it in together.
All one package.
Is that sort of strange, is it a Toronto agency signing a Winnipeg band?
I don't know.
You know, for a first or second band?
We, I mean, I guess I guess they won't sign anybody, but we work hard. We've been, you know, we've done coast to coast as many times as we could afford, and now, you know, I guess whoever's making them money, they're gonna, a good act who's making them money, and just sort of doing lots of shows. 'Cause we do lots of shows.
Oh, yeah.
And it's good being with a happening agency. It helps out.
That's the interesting thing about you guys, is like this is your first album, but you guys have been around for how long? 4 years?
About 4 years. We were 4 years indie, or 3.5 years indie. Oh, sorry.
That's right. That's just community cable.
Okay. Well, I'll nail it a few times then.
And so the band's been together for 4 years. Well, who else is in the band besides, well, we got Sammy Cohen here plays drums, and
Danny Graves singing. We have Pete Lavin on bass and Joey Serlin who plays guitar.
Oh, yeah. And who works up most of the songs? Do you guys do that like sort of all together, or is that?
We're starting to do it a little bit more all together. For the past, like our first experiences in songwriting, Joey sort of brought in the majority of the tunes, and we would sort of work around his ideas. But now we're starting to jam a little bit more and sort of write more songs as a band, and that's a good feeling. Oh, yeah, that's when you're all putting in everything you got and trying to come up with something good. So
something I like about your band too is like at first listen you sound like a straight ahead good time all time rock and roll band, but getting into the songs a bit more and the lyrics and stuff, there's a little more thought that goes into that.
A little bit more depth. Well, I think we try and do it as sincerely as possible, because I think that comes across first and foremost. If you're just kind of if you're just kind of joking, people can sometimes or usually see through it. We do it pretty honestly. I like the words that Joey writes, and I like what we come up with. We try and keep things interesting, straight ahead but interesting. You know, we take some chances every now and again.
Well, actually, one song on the album that I've heard, I don't know if you really took heat for, but got a lot of attention for, was "Run and Hide."
Sure. Yeah, that's been the topic of lots of conversations. But it's just basically a good rock and roll tune with, I guess, some controversial lyrics. But I know that Joey didn't write it for that, with that in mind when he wrote it. I've heard him say he wrote it a long time ago, not with any intention of it being on any radio or talking to any public access people about it or anything. Just sort of wrote it.
Yeah.
It's an angry tune from the perspective of an angry guy, an angry sick head, and that's pretty much it. but we have been getting a lot of heat
Oh, yeah.
from it though.
Well, that's, I guess, some of the royalties I understand are going to the Women's Action Committee.
Right, just to sort of,
To make sure we don't get into any trouble and to
Yeah.
make sure that we're not advocating it or anything.
Yeah.
right.
Oh, yeah,
And
for
plus
sure.
it's a good cause. I mean, sort of all around, it's not a bad thing to give money to, you know. We're not condoning it, and that sort of hopefully shows it that we're not, I guess.
Yeah. And you guys have just made the one video, I guess, Cracked.
Mhm.
How did that go over? Because it's pretty well a basic straight performance
Right.
video.
Whenever okay, we had
Yeah.
some mild rotation on Much
Yeah.
Music, and I still hear that people see it once in a while.
Mhm.
It was just supposed to represent the band in a sort of the simplest way, and that's
Oh, yeah.
just the live way. So
What people would see if they came to see us. We
Right.
didn't want any you
No
know,
acting just
acting
yet.
and naked chicks
no love
miming.
scenes just yet.
We're planning on doing a second video sometime soon. We're just sort of awaiting the word. So hopefully sometime in March, beginning of March or middle of March or something, try and set up another one for the third single. We're not sure where that's going to be yet, but hopefully
Oh, yeah.
we'll get into a video studio or whatever you do and try
Oh,
and
yeah, for
figure it
sure.
out.
And what else is in the future? Are you guys planning any trips down south to the States or off to Europe or?
Yeah, we are actually on this tour. We're going to Seattle and Portland, and then
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Right, then we're going to head home. Then we're going to go to like Minneapolis
Oh, yeah.
and
Do the Midwest and
right, just
Yeah.
sort of slowly incorporate the States, and possibly over the summer we're thinking about going to Europe. Actually,
Oh, yeah.
that's sort of something we're in the makings of right now, just deciding.
Yeah.
We have distribution there, I think, that we just secured, so we're gonna
Yeah.
work things out. Just
probably sometime in the summer.
we'll be touring a lot in the summer in the States and Europe, and
Yeah.
probably a little bit of Canada too. So we'll
How
be busy.
important is that to a band like yours to expand to the States and stuff? Is it important to make an impact there? Or?
I think, I mean, the States is so huge, we just wanna take a shot at it. I mean, we're not planning on by any means breaking the States with this one album, but just to go down there so that we're not constantly rookies in
Yeah.
the States. You know, we're doing, this is pretty much a tour of Canada, and we're just kind of slipping down the States because we're making no money down there. We're just
Yeah.
gonna try and get a little bit of a foundation there in certain regions, and then sort of keep on doing it and keep on building the foundation, and hopefully some certain areas of the States will become like certain areas in Canada,
Wow.
and hopefully Europe, and just as we start making more albums, just sort of keep on expanding and going to whoever will have us, you know, it
The
can't
same
hurt.
way we started here in Canada,
Yeah.
just sort of touring with
Yeah.
nothing, slowly realizing that people are coming to see us instead of just bar goers. We'll be starting from sort of square one
Yeah.
in the States, but I mean it's what you have to do to sort
Yeah.
of to make it. So
Oh, yeah. How do you guys feel about the Canadian music scene? Is it pretty open and welcoming?
fantastic. It's
Yeah.
great.
I think
It's
it's
better
great.
all the time. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
much diversity, which
Yeah.
is probably the best thing I think.
Yeah.
And 10 years ago, we just wouldn't. There
Yeah.
weren't half as many bands. That just like there's so much more credibility there for
Oh, yeah,
Canadian
sure.
bands.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a lot of respect for Canada as far as music goes.
Okay, well, my cameraman just gave me a signal here, so I guess it must mean we got 1 minute to go. Great, thanks. Okay, I'd like to thank Danny Greaves. Graves?
Greaves or Graves?
Greaves or Graves.
Doesn't
And
matter.
Sammy Cohen from what's the name of the band? Quickwarn. It's not the
30
Waltons.
seconds.
I know it's not the Waltons.
It's
It's
the
the It's the Watchmen from Winnipeg via Toronto. And well, if you didn't catch them this time, they'll be back sometime soon, and I'll let you know when they're back and well, buy their album.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, and we'll get to the video Cracked right now and crank up your TV.
Great.